We've come to the end of our charting a course for 2022 journey. And boy, has it been an insightful 5 weeks. We have looked at everything from your 2021 learnings to connecting your purpose with your goals, to the importance of failure, to looking at your mind, body, and soul. Now, we're going to be attempting to help you and I conquer procrastination. And with me, I've got two amazing gentlemen to do this. Yomi, Oladunjoye, and Othuke, Uyeri. Yomi is a team lead at Cardinal Minds, a coaching, training, and human capacity development company built to help and support both individuals and organizations to become their truest and best self. His integrative coaching service has helped devise individuals from various organizations. Whilst Othuke Uyeri is an integrative life coach, therapist, and banking professional. He is a trained geologist by profession, a financial engineer with a strength in supporting the ease of doing business goals of medium to large corporate organizations. And he's got over 14 years of experience as a banker. These two gentlemen are going to attempt to help me understand how to conquer my personal procrastination, and hopefully yours too. So, welcome Yomi, welcome Othuke.
Thank you.
It really
Thank
is
you, Feran, for having us.
an honor. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I told you guys that this topic is made for me.
True. Yeah.
But there was something you had said to me. You said everybody procrastinates.
True.
It's just varying degrees.
Mm.
Okay. So, that's, as we've said, dreaded word.
Yeah.
Procrastination. It's like the dirty word. So, please tell me, what does it mean?
Okay. So, procrastination is popularly called a thief of time. Now, what is time? Time is the currency of the world.
Okay.
Time is the best resource that we have at our disposal. You don't have control over it. You just maximize the use of it. So if there is a habit or a behavior that is popularly termed a thief of time, if you think about it deeply, it tells you clearly that it's something that prevents you from achieving your goals. It's something that keeps you from making progress in life. So procrastination is that bad.
You're 100% right. And I'm talking from experience. So, Yomi, how do we climb this mountain called procrastination?
Thank you for that question. And I'm intrigued by the word you used, the mountain. And I would explain it this way. Procrastination basically starts consciously, right? But gets embedded into our unconscious acts.
It starts consciously gets embedded into our unconscious acts. Okay.
So at the point wherein you're procrastinating, right, you are not fully aware of the thoughts that drives you to procrastinate. Procrastination is a behavior. Behavior is powered by a thought. So most of the time, we are looking at the effect called procrastination. I am delaying what I ought to do, right, to obtain or attain my goals. But there is a thinking pattern. There is something that triggers me to have that effect. Now, look at it this way. I want you to recall a time when you bought a device.
Okay.
You had wanted the device for a particular period of time, and you had probably save up or take a huge chunk of your salary to purchase the device. The first time you used that device, right, you were not very familiar with it. And you had to consult the manual or call a friend, right?
Or go to Google.
Or go to Google. Now, as you continuously use the device, you discover that your dependency on the manual and calling a friend wanes.
True.
A point comes when you don't have to consult the manual, you don't have to call a friend for you to use that device effectively. Guess what? A day comes, you're not at home. You're probably driving. And then a friend calls you She has just bought the same device, and she's having troubleshooting.
Navigating through it, yeah.
And then she asks you, how do I do this? You are not with the device. You are not seeing the device. You're not holding the device. But you take your friend through the device tour guide. What has happened? There was a time you were not familiar with it. Now you don't even have to see the device for you to explore the device.
Okay.
You have become unconsciously competent with working on that device.
Okay.
And that is what procrastination is. When you begin to procrastinate, it is an action, right, that you're not too familiar with. When it gets to the point where it becomes chronic, right, the trigger sets it off. And I'll bring it to life here, because it is ingrained in your brain. For every thought you have, for every action you perform, there is a neuronal connection in your brain. Let me just say a wiring connection, right, in your brain. When you start to perform that act, so when you bought that device, the brain doesn't understand the device, so it has to create a wiring for that device.
Okay.
As you continue to use the device, that wiring becomes stronger.
So as you continue to procrastinate, you become worse and worse and worse.
To the point when you now become unconsciously competent with the device, the networking in your brain is so strong that you can operate the device in your sleep. So see the progression. So procrastination is so deep in people, and you call it a mountain. I like that word, because look at a mountain, the base is so huge.
Yeah.
And then metaphorically look into the base of procrastination in your brain as the base of a mountain. And that is why it is difficult for people to overcome it in a quick fix, because it has taken root, because it has been done over time.
Yeah.
How do we fix this? Please.
So he has laid the foundation, he has built on it, and he has perfectly captured the depth and extent that procrastination can keep you from achieving your life goals. How do we fix this? There is no quick fix. Look at all the processes that you had to go through, from conscious competence to unconscious competence, right? Now, when you get to that place, you have to be, first of all, intentional. You have to make up your mind that you want to stop procrastinating. Then you seek help. How do you even know the extent of how bad your procrastination is? We have tests. Our mentor, the Catalyst, if you go to his website, you will see the free procrastination test.
Okay.
I encourage the listeners to...
I'm going to have to stop you there, because when we look at it from that perspective, if I don't want to go and do a test, I don't want to seek help, I want to figure it out on my own. Tell me how. Tell me those things that I can begin to do now, on my own, in my house, me, myself, and I, to try and work around it.
Intentionality.
Okay.
You want to get up. So when you look at the end of what you want to achieve, and the picture that is going to create for you for that future that you desire.
So you have to form a vision in your head.
Yes. So you have to be able to sit down, visualize it. You know how important that goal is for you at the end of the day. So let's assume that you want to have a master's degree, right? And in your office, they've already said that having a master's degree is going to increase your speed of progressing in your career. Okay. So you've seen people, there's a pattern already that people that went and took their time to do a master's degree, their promotion came faster. And promotion comes with more money, more the better things of life, right? So you really want to be promoted, and you know you need to get a master's degree to be promoted. And you don't like reading, you don't like studying, right? Oh, let me just keep it to the next time. I will do it tomorrow. That's procrastination. At that point, you are looking at that promotion that you want to achieve, and you know you have to get that master's degree.
Okay, so I'm looking at the promotion I want to achieve. So I want to be intentional. I have the desire. I'm not being intentional yet, though.
Yes.
I have the desire to be intentional.
Yes.
Yeah. I have the vision in my head
Yes.
of what my objective is or what my end goal is.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't have the will and the discipline to change it. What do I do?
So, you talked about intentionality, and I would add to that being self-aware. Right. And you said something about what can I do on my own or in my own space. Procrastination begins from your thoughts. Procrastination is the effect. The thought is the cause. So on your own, you need to sit down to ask yourself, at what point do I decide to procrastinate? And I'll give you a typical example, a personal example. One of the sub-layers of procrastination is thinking the task is easy. And because it is easy, I can do it anytime. But guess the catch. The brain does not understand anytime.
Okay.
The brain does not understand later.
Okay.
Right? So anytime to the brain is no time.
I see.
I need to get to the point where I ask myself, at what point do I interpret what I want to do as it is easy? Because that is the point I shift execution. So once I am able to track that point, then I can bring in interventions. And one of the key interventions you can bring in is to have an accountability partner.
Okay.
Someone who will check
So
on
maybe
you.
your spouse or your best
spouse,
friend.
your best friend. From me, I use my daughter at times.
Okay.
I have a 5-year-old set of twins. And one particular one, Uyeri, if you tell her, this is what I want to do, she will stay on your neck. You've got to do it, especially if there is a reward for her.
Wow.
So, understanding that, I call Uyeri. I say, Uyeri, let's have a deal. Daddy, what is it? I'm going to give you a box of chocolates, right? But at 7 p.m., remind me to go and pray. She looks at me 7 p.m. She doesn't have an idea of what 7 p.m. is. She says, is that afternoon or morning or night? I say, it's around night. She says, okay. Goes to her elder sisters. Sammy Lore, Kiton, Daddy says 7 p.m. I should remind him to pray. And that is evening. So she says that to them. They go to pray. She comes back to them later. Is it evening? I know they say it's not evening. She comes back in late. Is it evening? The moment they tell her it is evening, she runs to me. Daddy, it is evening. Go and pray. And I look at my, it's 5:30. 1 hour, 30 minutes more. So the moment it gets to 7:30 and she acknowledges that it's 7:30, I can't do any other thing again. Daddy, you got to go and pray. Why? Because if I don't pray, she doesn't get her chocolate.
I see. That's a really good strategy.
You know, so that for me has helped me to identify where does that trigger come from. It is easy. Because it isn't, I can push it. How do I stop myself pushing it? Get an accountability. But there are various interventions, but that is a key one we can use.
What if you can do all of these things, but you still don't have the will? Because sometimes I wonder whether the reason we procrastinate is because there's nothing really strong anchoring us and stopping us from actually changing behavior.
Great. There are various reasons why people procrastinate. And one of the key things is that people do not really want to be successful.
Wow.
Being successful is beyond leaping it or mouth leaping it. Being successful is depicted by the actions you take. So when your actions is not commensurate or aligning with the things you're seeing verbally, then you really don't have the will. So one of the key things you need to ask is, why don't you have the will? What happened in your past that has reduced or taken away that will? Because every human being was created with a desire to succeed. So if you do not want to, or if you do not see the reason to, something has gone on somewhere. So we need to pick that up. And that is why you need a therapist, you need a coach, you need a professional to help you dig deep down.
Dig deeper.
To see what and like I said, it's a subconscious thing, or it's an unconscious thing, and you've got to bring that unconscious element to the fore and then attack it.
I heard you sigh.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you are doing that tracing back, right, to try and align your desire with your reality, those are the times that you really need help and guidance. So when people
Not
come
everybody,
to you,
the truth of the matter is, and this is a fact of life, in this, our African culture, a lot of people do not understand the need for help and guidance. So, I want us to take cognizance of that. And sometimes it's actually men. They don't understand. If you tell a man, you need a coach, you need a therapist, you need a counselor, they're like, for what? What is the person going to tell me that I cannot figure out myself? So let's be mindful of that.
so bringing it to African culture, right, there's also a way out.
Okay.
So there's what we call peer groups.
Okay.
So I'm from Delta State. I live in Lagos, right? I cannot just come to Lagos and say I want to stay on my own. I have to belong to groups that tie me back to where I am coming from.
Okay.
So in those kind of groups, when you go sit down and say you're having meetings and you're bantering, they ask some questions like, oh, how is your business doing? Oh, how is your wife? Oh, how are your children? How is life treating you, right? So at those points, you can just voice out in the form of gisting. And I can tell you that if you are really deeply connected, right, somebody will just pop something that will make you think. So you are in those kind of groups and you are seeing, we all came to Lagos at a particular time in our lives. And this guy has moved. This guy has moved. Why am I here? It gives you something to think about. And by the time it gets to the point that people are calling for meetings and gatherings and you are not able to go, your mind will start telling you that there's something that is not really
But
right.
you know, in that kind of situation, what some people do, Othuke, is they just hide. They stop going out. They stop interacting.
That's the importance of that community. When you hide,
But they would even stop going to the community meetings.
the community will look for you.
They won't answer their phone.
No. So I
No,
have
because
seen
these are real things
I
now.
have seen situations where we had a friend, right, that started having issues and he was hiding it. But somehow, there are times that we always come to meet, there are places that we meet, and we stop seeing this guy. And somebody one day just say, how far? Have you noticed? Say, oh, that's true. And we reached out. And because that person is a member of a community, the social life thing, right? We reached out to him and somehow we were able to penetrate and found out what the issue was and supported him to come out of that issue.
You were going to say something.
Yes, I also say that every behavior is backed by a positive intention.
Every behavior is backed by a
positive
positive,
intention.
not negative, positive intention.
Positive intention.
There is
yeah, correct.
something that the guy wants to protect. So he's probably trying to protect his ego. Protecting your ego is positive.
Is it?
Right.
All
Protecting
the
your
time?
ego. Protecting your ego is positive. Everybody wants to protect their ego. I don't want you to talk to me anyhow. I don't want you to treat me anyhow. So
Fair
I
enough.
want to protect. So for me, it's a positive thing, right? And if he sees that going out there exposes him, right? Because it's not like Othuke said, in alignment with what others have done, staying back protects him. But the question is this, and I want to say this: everybody is responsible for their lives.
100%.
I'm not responsible for his life. We came in this morning and about 2-3 people have said, you look like. And I'm like, wow, we've got the same father, you know, in Larry Lushola. But the truth of the matter is, I am not responsible for his life. He's not responsible for my life. I'm not responsible for your life. In fact, I am not responsible for my wife's life. Each individual is responsible for their life. And then you need to be able to ask yourself, how do I want my life to be in the next 10, 20 years? So if I have the vision of where I want my life to be in 20 years, and I ask myself, the way I am behaving now, if I continue doing this in 20 years' time, where would I be? See, you've got to answer your question by yourself, for yourself, within yourself.
By yourself, for yourself, within yourself.
If you don't, you won't get that. Now you can have people that can help you, right? When you've come to that realization, you can also have people that can, help you get to that realization. But the truth of the matter is this: until you decide, what is my life worth, you might not make that move.
You have to decide. Okay, so to round up, can you each give me 3 tips? Yes, non-coaching related, non-test related, nothing. Real life. I can write it down now and I can start practicing it. Maybe we say changing habits, changing patterns. Yeah? So give me 3 tips each for moving from being a procrastinator to a goal smasher.
Awesome. So first tip I'll give you is something we've already said. You have to decide that you want to smash your goals because you are responsible for your reality.
Yeah.
Right? You are in control of you. Even from the religious angle, right? All man for himself. You are going to answer the call of your maker.
True.
As
so
you.
Number 1, you have to decide.
Yes.
Okay.
2, you must take action. You must take action. So you decide to do something, you take action. And you have to be consistent in your actions.
You must decide, you must take action, and you have to be consistent.
Yeah. Stay on the course.
Stay on the course.
Over to you, Yomi.
To add to what Othuke said, I would say, know yourself.
Know yourself. I like that.
Who are you? What are you? One of the key reasons why people procrastinate is because they do not believe in themselves enough. And I'll just drop something here. From Genesis, and apologies to non-Christian folks listening to us. When God formed man, man was lifeless.
True.
Until he did something. And what did he do? He breathed into man. What is the difference between you and your breath? If you stop breathing today, what happens to you?
You die.
That means what God gave to man was his life. So when you come to the consciousness that you are actually the life of God, walking upon the face of the earth, then ask yourself, what can this life do? What this life can do is equal to what you can do.
So this is still on point 1, know yourself.
Know yourself. Okay. Number 2, celebrate yourself.
Celebrate yourself.
Celebrate your small wins, celebrate your big wins.
Celebrate your
Don't
small
wait
wins,
until you've
celebrate
achieved your
big
goal,
wins.
right, before you celebrate yourself. Because one of the key things why people procrastinate is also because of the less assurance, right, that they can succeed at it. And why do they do that? They don't intentionally focus on their wins in the past. They lose sight of it. What you focus on grows. What you don't focus on dies. So you've got mountains of small wins you've acquired in the past, but you don't focus on them. You are only focusing on the things you've not achieved. Guess what is happening? You are diminishing yourself because you're looking at yourself through the paradigm of the things you've not achieved and leaving behind the things you've achieved. Those are your strengths.
Wow. So
When
number
you-
3, I need to go to number 3 because I can hear them saying wrap up.
Number 3, surround yourself with accountability partners that you can readily submit to.
Surround yourself with accountability partners. I like the end part of it, that you can readily submit to.
Yes.
So that still goes back to number 1 of knowing yourself and being realistic enough with yourself.
Yes.
Yomi and Othuke, I cannot wait to watch this back.
Wow.
Because again, I say to you guys, I am a procrastinator. And if I can smash that in 2022, I would have achieved a major feat. So thank you so, so much. Really, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And for taking time out of your busy schedules. It has been really, really awesome. I really, really do hope that a lot of us who, like me, tend to procrastinate, I hope we've learned something. I really, really hope we have. And I really hope that this last 1 month, where we've looked at different areas of charting our 2022, have been really impactful. Please stay with us for a few more seconds whilst John, Helen, and myself wrap up the show. Thank you.